Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Aesthetic Impact Informational Services, LLC, Remote Viewing Practice Target 141104. It's the Troy Boathouse, located in Treasure Island Park, Troy, Ohio. My name is Teresa Frisch, and I am the owner of Aesthetic Impact, and I offer these target practices to anyone who wants to work in whatever methodology of remote viewing, and the public is welcome to join us and listen in, ask questions after we finish. And they're available on YouTube almost all the time. Every now and then we have a glitch, so anybody can listen to them later on as well. So tonight I've done something that is kind of a unique opportunity, and I've tried to work it in to the best of my ability as the year 2014 unfolded, because this is actually an extension or a retasking of a session that we did in January of this year, and I'll explain. I don't want to mix targets, so I'm not going to be putting pictures up from that target, but in January, I was in another location in Troy, and the actual target was the Adams Street Bridge. And here, because we have so many different viewers at different levels of training from different trainers or learning on their own, I don't try to stick to any too stiff of tasking lingo, as we call it, or parameters, or make people do specific things. I usually just ask for folks to describe the location of our target, and I just go from there, and that way everybody gets a chance to review their sessions and see what they got, and we can all discuss. So in January, the location was a different park in Troy, just a little bit to the east of this, but within eyesight, which you'll see, and the actual target was the Adams Street Bridge. And we had several of what I will term our regular viewers, folks who come on the Wednesdays that we get together here in WebEx and discuss things. And it was great because almost every viewer described things, which I don't want to drag that feedback into this target, so I'm not going to mention them, but they described things all around that location. And we reviewed them and found the feedback, and it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. But there was what I will call an outlier. And Lynn teaches us that we work in teams. You don't pick and choose what information the customer gets, because just because you don't understand as the analyst or project manager, it doesn't meet your expectations. Your expectations are not what matter. The data that is produced by the viewer is what matters. So we don't use, through Lynn's teaching, consensus analysis, meaning whoever has the highest number of votes or whatever, that's the data that's important because 9 out of 10 people got it. It's all important. So essentially, when we compile an operational report in operations, not practice, the customer is not censored. They get the summaries and the sketches, and because the customer usually knows things about that location or that target, they have not divulged. And things that I wouldn't understand as an analyst or a project manager could be very meaningful to the customer. And so therefore, moving along, and where is this all going? So one of the viewers, who is Michelle Bornhorst, who is here again tonight, got a session, and we even said in that webinar when we reviewed that target, it's like, she's kind of having an off day, I think, because this is not making a whole lot of sense. But, as a project manager, you know your people, and you know when they're on. And there was something about her session, her summary, it's like, no, there's something I even was shaking my head on camera and go, no, there's something. There's something. It's right outside my head because I'm running this thing and all of you and talking, and there's something. And so once we closed, I started investigating. And if you were, say, in operations and you wanted, if say it was a missing person, I wrote this up and posted it on all the lists as a mock missing person scenario. If you had maybe 5 locations where there's a missing person and law enforcement needs to narrow down their search, you don't want to send them to the wrong place if you can help it. And so if there are definitive features to describe a location through the topology or what have you, you look for the things that would narrow it down so you don't waste resources, whether it's people, man hours, supplies, whatever. So at the end of that mock scenario report, I concluded with an analyst statement going, of all the 5 locations, everything that everybody described matches, say, 1, 3, and 5. However, this viewer number, which we would not disclose her name, this viewer reports, such and such and so, and if time allows, analyst recommends considering redeploying and retasking the team to this location to see for more information, which may be more definitive to what you need, or something along that line. So this, moving ahead to the end of 2014, is what I wanted to try and get done so that you all could see what that would look like. That's hospital talk. What does that look like? So this is the boathouse, and this is what Michelle's session actually described. And she had a lot of concepts there and information about the actual near location, about the lagoon and what kind of water was there, and things that were going on that didn't actually say, hey, it's a restaurant right now, we hear cups clinking and stuff like that. But if you were a local historian and knew this area, you would know this boathouse. If you grew up in Troy, you would know about the boathouse. And that's what you need to have on your team, is somebody who has some background information, if at all possible. So this is the boathouse, and some reading about it. It is, I need to set, it's not the Miami River. I need to fix that. It's the Great Miami River. Oh, here we go. So I'll just read this. Historic Hobart Marina in Troy was constructed by the Hobart brothers in 1946. They, by the way, are the folks who did KitchenAid mixers and such as that. Very big company. It was originally built to serve family, friends, and Hobart employees, and was an active center for water sports activities on the Great Miami River for many years. The marina building features a unique and distinctive Art Deco design and was large enough to house a variety of watercraft, including many Chris-Craft boats. The marina became the center for a variety of recreational activities, including boat racing, water skiing, picnics, dancing, fishing, musical entertainment, and a number of special events. New format here in WebEx. With interest in water activities beginning to wane, in the 1970s, the marina was donated to the city of Troy by the Hobart family. From the beginning, the front portion of the building served as a restaurant, while the riverside went basically unused. Over the last 30 years, the structure has gradually fallen into a state of disrepair as its function changed from a river-oriented public facility. However, the original beauty of the marina has not been forgotten, and the city of Troy in the last 5 years has spent nearly $400,000 in an attempt to begin to restore the building to its original glory. With a new restaurant called the Tin Roof that is more in keeping with the theme of the building and shared vision with the city to see the marina become a functional amenity on the river corridor, the Treasure Island Marina is poised to begin a new era as a regional northern hub for recreation. And links to my sources of information at the bottom of this document. So this is the view of the building facing to the east. And, I don't know, I hope one of the next pictures, the Adams Street Bridge that was in the January target is off to the left-hand side here, right? If you look at the land, that gray strip, that's the Adams Street Bridge. So when everybody else was describing other things about that location, Michelle was on the opposite side of the bridge, and she was giving information about this building that would help target this location definitely. So the building is located on the Great Miami River and is bordered by a lagoon on the east and a canal/creek on the north. Here we go. Steps leading to the water allow passengers to easily disembark from the boats. Visible to the east are the Adams Street Bridge, the Miami County Courthouse, and the brick tower of the Troy Power Plant, which were all part of that other target. Because I just said I wasn't going to feed that in, but I didn't put in pictures. A levee is seen to the west of the boathouse. A system of levees was built along the Great Miami River after severe flooding in 1913 and is maintained by the Miami Conservancy District. The weather was overcast and chilly with occasional sprinkle of rain the day that these images were taken. The sounds of dry leaves skittering across asphalt mixed with the raucous cries of hundreds of starlings flying to and fro from the bare treetops. The building was last occupied by the Tin Roof Restaurant, which is now closed to the public, and they have a sign there. If anybody smells steak, they must. I didn't make it. I think it's closed for good because downtown in the city building there are plans, what they plan to do insofar as renovating it as a recreational center. But they must have served a really good steak. They had a big sign to that effect. The city of Troy is in the beginning phases of restoring the park to its former glory, including replacing a lighthouse that used to be there. The boat launch on the south side of the building is viewed here, where there's a parking lot where you just saw the picture. If you enlarge that last picture, you can see tons of birds. Accessible by a bridge on the far side, Treasure Island is seen to the right with a view of playground equipment, picnic tables, and permanent grills. And again, that's a boat launch from the parking lot. On the street outside, as you approach the entry to the park, is a monument with an anchor that announces the park and showcases its history on the side plaques. The top of the boathouse can be seen to the left above the levee. Historic lighting fixtures enhance the theme of bygone days. Another monument at the entry to the park carries the nautical theme. The plaque inscription commemorates the Hobart brothers' vested dedication to the community. The street bridge to the left crosses the canal/creek on the north side of the boathouse, and it empties into the lagoon. And here you can see underneath the building, and there's like a grill work on this window that's down underneath the steps, and there's a blue anchor there. And this is a picture that I took last winter in the January, so hopefully I don't mess anybody up with the snow. But this is an actual winter view of the bridge and Canal Creek that would be if you were looking at the boathouse itself for information that would be specific to it. This creek would be something that possibly someone would be picking up as related to the topology. And then this is actually Michelle's sketch. I saw this in my files at the last minute and threw it in. So, if it's not technically, according to Hoyle, with how a practice target is set up, excuse me, this is a very unique learning experience for all of you. You won't get this very often, so I threw it in. So this is her sketch, her P3 sketch. And I explained down here in this paragraph about her session being the outlier. of how even though it didn't match everybody else's, that were easily, you could find the, the tower and stuff in the background, and one person nailed the bridge itself with the plaques on the bridge, the whole bit. One person nailed the cemetery, and that was Pat McDonald, and he's not here. Terry Bain nailed the power plant, the brick smokestack. Pavel Trela nailed the bridge. So did John Stewart. And then there's Michelle, marching to the beat of her own drum and keeping time. So, as I said, if I were the analyst and if time allowed, I would advise the customer to consider, if they wanted to get more information that was specific to this site, moving the viewers, to this location and seeing if they would get more information about this particular outlier information. And you cannot retask somebody you can't retask a viewer or task a viewer on someone else's perception. Let me just throw that in. So even though she may have said, a certain thing, you can't say move to this whatever, because if that viewer didn't get that information, you can't move them to a perception that they did not get. So you could, however, retask the whole crew in a different way and move them all here with a new focus and get more information that way. So if you, Lynn, excellent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This has everything needed for a TOTW. Thank you again. See, boss, I knew. I had reasons for doing those other targets, which I will not name and drag the feed back into this one. There are reasons I gave people the opportunity to do those sessions. This one, I've been waiting on all year. So anyway. I hope that made sense to you, and please feel free to put your questions up into the chat area, and we'll grab, I just have 5 sessions total, and I don't think there will be much, I'm not going to be able to post this on any of the boards for a little bit, as if I would have time, because Terry wants a chance to work her session a little more. And I don't think that any of you are going to run right out and call her up or anything. But okay, so here's Bob's session, and unfortunately with WebEx in its new format, I don't know how many pages we're looking at here. Let's see, 9. And I've been playing Santa Claus to an almost 1-year-old and 3-year-old, and I had a really good time. So I admit I haven't memorized these. I looked at Bob's session and didn't get back with him until way late for retasking. So we're going to skip. Hopefully I'll be able to rotate this WebEx in its new format. Okay, here is his summary. Target has aspects. Let's see if I can get this to focus better. Oh no. Aspects of structure: biological, water, and land. Structure is brown reddish in coloring with brick, wood, and stony paste, and wood and pine smell. There are echoing sounds, laughter, and applause. Musical sounds along with lively and festive sounds of human biologicals enjoying themselves here. They are socializing, relaxing, and retreat. There are food smells here like barbecue. The temp is cool. It is rustic ambiance with a purpose of socializing, relaxing, and retreat. There is meaning of socializing, which is family-oriented within a natural setting. Concepts related with it are country event, contests, prizes, and raffles. Further concepts are country, western, friendly, and down home. This is a fun place, and I'm enjoying it. The dimensions of the interior structure are boxy, squarish, and rectangular in shape. It is log cabin-like in structure and appears to be one surface ranch level surface. Biologicals are human in composition both male and female in structure. There's relaxed get-together, festive ambiance amongst them with a concept of enjoyment. There are dancing motions present with the bios. They are dressed casually with a concept of a theme. They are in group patterns and entertain in their emotions. The water side is of a lakefront ambiance with earthy soft, warm, cool, and temp with not a lot of motion. There is a peaceful concept with a fresh feeling related with it. It is located in front of the structure and wide in horizontal direction. At night, there is a reflective nature luminance over it. The water is calm, slow in movement, with wavy and splashing sounds present. The land at the site is naturally green in coloring with a hard cement-like flat surface for parking in close proximity to the structure. Man, you're nailing this thing. It is a rural and natural setting for the most part. The location of the site has country-like tangibles with concepts of peaceful and American. There are grassy and tree-like tangibles in a quiet area with the smell of pine. It is rocky and hilly in the background of the structure and well lit at night close to the structure. There is a concept of rustic association with the location. There is a grassy ledge-like area after the water's edge. At the structure, there are large window-like tangibles with reflections of light and sign-like tangible that is squarish with concepts of venue, dates, names, and tangible lettering for the purpose of announcing. Yeah, that was there. At least there was a big sign there that showed what was on the menu and stuff like that. I didn't get a close-up of it. The overall purpose of the Target is a family-oriented meeting in a close and social setting. And also, back in the 40s, there were what I would say are high rollers. A lot of pretty powerful and influential people would come to this area, to this building, and belong to the club and so on. I'm breaking up a little. Oops, I'm sorry. Might be that raspy voice of mine. I'm sorry. I hope y'all can hear me okay. Now, Bob, this is your time. Do you have anything you'd like to say? You can key up your mic or text it in or whatever. It's a really good session. I'll try and go back through here and see if there are any sketches that we want to look at while you're talking. Or Lynn, go ahead if you want to say anything. I'm just looking for sketches.
Yeah, excellent session. Yeah,
structure.
Yeah. Excellent summary writing too.
Yep. I am just looking at all my new little tools here in this environment. I don't see anything that looks like rotating. View. Uh-oh. Rotate page. Of course. There you go. You know, if my kids could see that, it would make their day. Okay, so here is a sketch of the structure and where the water and biologicals are in relationship to it and the land. Okay. Bob, this was really a great session. You did a good job.
Very good.
Oh, I see your mic is making your headset's moving. You're live. Bob? Oh, he was live. Bob, did you want to say something? Your mic was keyed up. Okay, a lot of rapid typing going on there, so I'll watch for chat things. I'm texting. I think I made good sight contact this time. You think you made good sight contact, Lynn?
No, I think you made excellent sight contact.
Yeah, I second that. And we're not just whistling Dixie. I'll keep an eye over there if you have anything more you'd like to say. Thanks. Thank you for sending. Helps us all learn. All right, here's Pat. He's in the UK, so it's the middle of the night for him. Summary. The target is wilderness, jungle, or similar. No buildings, very few people, teeming with life forms. He's using ERV. And he says it's hot, steamy, humid, hard to breathe, and he's AOLing Florida Everglades. Wet, dark vegetation, there are life forms everywhere, big, small, teeming with life, and he zoomed in on one, about a foot tall. It's a mammal and furry, seems like a lemur, or similar. And then move 300 feet vertically in sketch, hilltops peeking through the mist, and it's golden. The mist is golden colored, and there's a freshwater lake about 5 miles away. And it was only one set. Oh, few humans nearby. Simple, not technologically advanced, not local, traveling, and almost naked, loincloth, and they're happy here.
Well, there's people in Troy, I tell you.
Yeah, they're wild here. Woo! I can't speak to the wildlife. If there are boats, and I know, waffling, give me some maple syrup and butter with that. They would be in bathing suits. So, and I'm really sorry that it's a quiet, like there was nothing going on, like no people around, only the birds and me. But I really felt that this was a valuable learning experience with the retasking piece. So I went for it.
Yeah, one of the training things is, to get to be a better viewer is that sooner or later you've got to have a target that is missing something like action or whatever, and see if you can still do it. And yeah, these targets come up. Then targets come up where it's just overpowering everything, and some targets come up where it's just virtually nothing. You have to have these.
And that's what you and I discussed behind the scenes. It's like, I want my students working your target pool. I mean, you can't say enough about your target pool and the way it is set up with various levels of cooking and all that goes into those targets. And so the stuff that I do here is quite frequently stuff that you won't get. Am I breaking up again? Oh.
You're breaking up very badly here, and we're not even hearing hardly anything you're saying.
Anybody else having trouble, or just Lynn? Anyway, a lot of the targets that I put up here are specifically not exciting targets for the most part. I encourage my students to work Lynn's target pool. I'm breaking up with everybody. I don't know what to do about that. Maybe I need to buy a new mic. Okay. I can lean forward. Let's see. This is Linda's session. She couldn't be here. She was going to try and come later. She was very resistant to doing this target. Part of me was trying to talk the rest of me into dropping remote viewing, just because it wasn't supposed to be her thing. But I reminded her subconscious of how much we've learned. And so anyway, she did the session, and she says she perceived it as being in two different times. In one time, there seems to be great natural energetics involving water, physical difficulty, and challenge, exposure to the elements, fatigue, and a feeling of success won at a price. There are smells of saltiness, dirt, plants, and smoke, and textures of wetness, roughness, smoothness, something ribbed, and grit. Air is cool, moist with a little chill. Tastes are salty, mineral, and smoky. Sounds are rushing, monotonous, ongoing, lots of white noise, then clank, noisy sounds. Colors are mostly gray, dark green, muted, medium blues, and a patch of yellow. Predominant colors that she perceived. Seems to be lots of biologicals / humans. I perceive emotions of dedication, work, training, doing what must be done, adventure, pride, and being a part of things. I also perceive feelings of hardship, duty, games, remembrance, mixed emotions, personal losses and gains, and discomfort. She perceived it to be outdoors in both times. Present time or time of the photo is on relatively flat land. In the past, it was on a water-land interface. Concepts include training, orientation to work, being on display, and homecoming. A lot of motion energetics. She had AOLs of parade, steps leading up to a platform with a monument, D-Day, U.S. Army, and flags. She felt some emotional overwhelm, both positive and negative emotions, and some physical discomfort. And that's just, she only had the one page. This is her session. And she trained with Morehouse, or studied.
Dave's a good trainer.
And I never know if folks just read his stuff or actually spent time in a seminar with him.
No, I think he teaches class, but he teaches, I've heard, in a sort of auditorium type way rather than a sit down around the table class. I don't know. Either way, it comes up with some good students.
Yeah. We'll look at Terry. She's not here. Wants to have it be retasked if at all possible. I'm going to skip down through this because she does a ton of sketches, and she has a real small interim summary at the end. She's really fixated on the bios. Right there she said, oh, forms a track or path. This must be her last page. Powerful point of attraction. Bios come far heading towards this point, polarizing quality to the point. Very powerful destination. Mapping guidance comes to mind, but pulling involved. Strong, inescapable force draws everything in. Bios involved. Bios are drawn in. So without my overlay, she's still in the middle of her session. And as I said, she wanted to move around and explore some things. But as I said, this was a very powerful location. A lot of, this was like a private club too that you had to belong to. And so if this was to happen in place in the 40s, a lot of really influential people would meet here and discuss things. All right, and that leaves us with Michelle's session. And let's see how many pages. Oh, 13, not so much. The target is a target, describe the target, which is what she always does. And just noting everybody, she always sets aside previous sessions so she doesn't mix them up, tries to avoid that. And her AI, I am here, it's in front of me, and she's interested and she likes it. And something about it makes me think of Bram Stoker. I hate to say this, isn't that Dracula?
Yes.
That's what I thought. And you notice we have, look at the front of this building. She's indicating, my webcam disconnected. Isn't that too bad? Let me try getting it back. Yeah. She's indicating that the building seems to be, would take these to be stone or brick. And she has a pretty unique looking doorway there, which I think resembles the feedback doorway quite a bit. It has lights on both sides, and look at the split doors. She has paned windows. Look at the lamp fixture off to the right, and we had a matching one, or there's one on both sides. Not necessarily right there. I don't know if maybe in an earlier time there was one there, but I don't know. I'd have to look at the pictures to see if they're actually there now, but they do look like the one that's out along the street. And over on the left-hand side, there is an area that leads to a patio with stairs over on the left-hand side of this building, where you can see the picture that you can see underneath the building. And she has a fountain there. There's no fountain at the present time. A little research would probably be able to feed back on that. Some point we have some folks in an audience and somebody seems to be speaking. And then her summary. Her purpose, she declares, as being a meeting place of historic significance. Summary. Target has aspects of space, motion, land, man-made, biological, and water. Space was about taking in, listening, and engaging. There was an auditorium feel of anticipation. Something about this space had to do with checking numbers. The motion was like that of a turnstile and some sort of kiosk checking. There was greeting as in forming small, I'm sorry, you're trying to read that. Looks like small tones, but there was movement of biologicals changing levels as in checking out the other floors of the building for interest's sake. Also groups being seating and then up and leaving. The pace of the motion felt leisurely, more often relaxation than business. It all began with being dropped off and then moving around, as in organizing and piling in. The land at this target had a spongy, moist, mossy, damp, chilly countryside feel. The land is historic notoriety, I believe connected through a battlefield nearby and a character whose name still matters. I went out on a limb saying that there is a kingdom vibe. There is a lookout point with a rare advantage. The area is slow-roaded, narrow, not much traffic. The land felt curvy, hilly, and forest-flanked. Fields nearby seemed like a barley-like substance growing. Also, there were large rounded rolls of grain that made me think it was wheat. The area has a unique hunting history that includes fox and pheasants. Healthy old-style farms are busy with such things as pigs, sheep, cows, and horses. The man-made is a strong historic stone structure in tones of grays and blues. It felt multi-level with perhaps 4 stories. Tall, multi-paned windows are trimmed out in white. It feels grand in design and furnishing. I saw and smelled fancy meals being served. There are reenactments of days gone by. The biologicals, and they do that there, by the way, they do have reenactments of battles and stuff. I saw signs. The biologicals were learned, leader types of uniters. Most were lovers of music and nature. They are history guardians and beauty maintainers. Many levels of staff with high service on their minds. There is a serious dedication to place, and they are proud of the formality here. The word regency came directly after the word formality. About the biologicals, there is a charade of fancy with behind-the-scenes scrimping and maneuvering to stay afloat. Good causes connect here, as in so-and-so's event raised this much money for the foundation. The people here are from a long line of traditional do-gooders. The water aspects of this target involve a creek to the back that cuts from the north to the southwest. There appeared to be an ornate outdoor fountain in front of the man-made. The air quality was misty and moisty. To the east of the target is a small pond. Nailed that. There's a type of deep well with some sort of water house with a wheel at work. And I always think it's interesting to take a look at the stray cats just to see if anything really unique popped in. Like 1700s, she felt like she was sliding around in time. And did everything from Gone with the Wind vibe to Bram Stoker. Very good. You did not get pulled off to Vampire Land. And as far as I know, we're not harvesting any cotton. Excellent. Okay. Lynn, Michelle, anybody want to have any comments, thoughts?
I think it shows definite contact with the site, especially the historical part of the site. The history of this place, like you were explaining, is, very varied. And so that's, not normal for a lot of targets. A lot of targets used to be this, now they're this. But this one has differences all along the way. And did you say that there is a lighthouse on a river?
There was. It's not there now, but the city of Troy is getting ready to reconstruct it.
Was it stone like most lighthouses, or?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know how big it was, or if it was ornamental, or if it actually, I assume it had a light in it that worked.
Yeah,
But very nice session, ma'am.
Yes, very.
That's a keeper. Oh, somebody else just got here. Oh, Linda made it. I'll go over her session again. Janine's asking, sorry I got here late. Is there a long bridge or overpass somewhere around there? Yes, ma'am. And that was the focus of the target in January. And Michelle actually got this location on the opposite side of the bridge. And so this is like a retasking in operations. If the customer was trying to decide if there were several locations to choose from before deploying resources, if time allowed, they could send the viewers to look at this spot to see if it definitely matched up. That way you're not deploying resources to the wrong place, hopefully. Don't always have that convenience as far as time. And also it teaches us to not throw out somebody's session just because it doesn't match up with the other viewers. You know, just because they reported on all the common things, there might be that one session that reports the very distinctive, uncommon thing.
That's right. Can I address that a little bit?
Yes, sir.
If you, as a viewer, get a chance to work with a project manager, there will be certain things that they have to not report, but if they start throwing out information simply because they don't agree with it or because they're misinterpreting or they're interpreting something different, and so they throw out information, you really don't want to work for that project manager again. They will fail as a project manager, their operations will fail, and so on, given enough time. And so as a viewer, you really need to know your abilities, and you really need to, you know, be practiced, and you really need to sometimes pick and choose who you work for. This is one of the reasons for the database. Tells you what you're good at, what you're not good at, and there are project managers who will try to use you for everything, no matter whether you're good at it or not. And when you get into operations, usually money, sometimes lives and all that depend on it. So you want to be very careful who you work for. And I'll get off my soapbox on that.
All right. I just wanted to show everybody the front of the building. You'll notice the doors, and it does have two lights on either side. There, and Michelle sketched a couple of old-time looking lights. There are two handicap parking places and two shrubs. But, you know, the rest of her stuff is so accurate. You know, I can't feed back. There's no post there now that looks like this. But, you know, this is a historic target with a lot of information over the years. So I'm not willing to say that at some point, and you could probably dig around in some Troy archives if you really didn't have anything to do and wanted to check that out. But I bet you that at some point that there were probably lights there that looked like that. But here is her entryway, and I mean the actual doors are practically perfect, and she has two lamps on either side, and the windows have panes, and this is just extremely accurate. So, I mean, she's got the shape of the building off. I mean, there are people who yell at her for that, probably say she didn't have it. You know, we could name names of the biggest skeptics about how it's a flat ranch style and she's got a two-story. But, you know, of all the things that she could have reported on in time and space and all the things she could have done and went, you know, I think she did a pretty darn good job. And Oh, she is making in a statement. There's another in private to me. She says there is another restaurant on a circle in that she thinks she might have sketched in its place, but it's a restaurant, so the concept is there. Gotcha. I see what you're saying. Well, I have no idea if the doors match that well, but I like these because they do match. And then, let me see, here's Linda's session. So Linda, I'm sorry, the target itself is a boathouse that is located in Troy, Ohio, and it's a distinctive local landmark, and it was donated by the Hobart brothers. They're a very philanthropic group, and in the 1940s, there was a lot of watercraft and meetings and, family life, and we went over your session, and you got a lot of very, very pertinent information. Water, physical difficulty, challenge, exposure to the elements, fatigue, success won at a price. You've got the, I don't know about the saltiness part, but dirt, plant, smoke. It was a restaurant, and I know they cook steak there, but there are barbecue grills outside and picnic tables. When I was there, it was fall and cool with a little bit of raindrops every now and then. And your colors are right. And there were no humans there at the moment when I was there. There was a guy in one of those pictures. There's a guy on a bike trail. I didn't mention that. He was there. And Adventure Pride, Hardship Duty Games. And there was a lot of like boat racing and such as that back in the day. And you were right insofar as being outdoors, and you were right as far as relatively flat land. There's a levee behind it, and in the past, water-land interface, that's good. And a lot of motion, and you were AOLing with parades and steps leading up to a platform with a monument. And let's see what your next page shows. If that was your session. But I can show you the pictures here. WebEx has a new format. I like it, but I'm just getting used to it a little bit. But here is the building, and you can see the steps that come down to the water so boats could pull up, people could get in and out, and you could pull under the building. There's a levee in the background. This is sitting on a lagoon on the Great Miami River. There's an Adams Street Bridge in the background, and that was the actual target of our January webinar. And in the background, you can see the courthouse and brick smokestack. And viewers were nailing all sorts of information about each of these features, topological features. I think that might be a new word. As well as a cemetery that was nearby. And as two people got the bridge itself. So these were a lot of great sessions describing this location. Michelle's was the outlier, which teaches us that if a local historian was there or somebody like the customer who never reveals everything, this would be something that they would pick up on as being distinctive to this location if they had 2 or 3 locations that they were trying to choose from, say if they were law enforcement to deploy resources. And if you picked up birds, there are a ton of starlings. Troy has a lot of starlings. And they run around in different neighborhoods and get in the treetops and make a racket. And it was, there were dry leaves blowing across the parking lot, which was asphalt. So you could hear that. And it was cool and misty, a little bit of rain now and then. And this is the front of the restaurant. they're getting ready to refurbish this and turn it into a recreational center. This is a boat launch, which is next to the building, and Treasure Island is actually across that stretch of water with a playground and picnic tables and the grills, permanent grills. There's a bridge on the other side. That's how you get to it. This is a monument that sits out front. I call it a monument or marker. I'm not sure. With the nautical theme, and you can see the old-time light there off to the left. And this is the levee. There's a huge levee system because there was a lot of flooding in 1913. So it was a natural disaster. I didn't say a whole lot about it because I didn't want people to start feeding into that part of the target. But that's why there's a levee behind it and over by the Adams Street Bridge. And this monument sits at the entry to the drive that comes in off the street, again with the nautical theme and plaques commemorating the founders and their donation. And then underneath, more nautical theme with an anchor here on these windows, and the steps that I was telling you that on Michelle's target, there are steps coming up to the outside on the left, and an overhang here that there are no tables and chairs sitting there now. Can't say that there weren't at some time. This is a winter shot that I included just so because I took it in last January after we found out the session results. And I was going to show Michelle, and I'm not sure if I ever mailed them around or not. But this is the canal or creek that she describes in her session. I don't know if anybody else got it. That would be distinctive to the boathouse as far as topology information. And last, I included her sketch of the boathouse from last January and explained about down at the bottom if we were doing a mock scenario with different choices for the customer to pick from, trying to, figure out where to deploy resources. This retasking the entire group to the boathouse, if there was time, might give them more information so they can make their decision. And with that, I think I'm done. And I'm sorry if I'm cutting in and out. I do have a tickle in my throat anymore, and I am projecting my voice, so I don't know if that's good or bad. And not long ago, I purchased a file cabinet. It's sitting directly to the left, so I don't know if that's making a difference with the acoustics. And I have a heater running because it's kind of cold here. So
actually, you're doing fine right now.
Okay, I have no idea why now is different than 15 minutes ago. So anyway, there we go. That's everything I have at 9:17. So it's all yours for questions, comments. There we go.
That's some good work, huh?
Well, thank you, Bob.
Bob, did you have any comments or discussions or questions or anything? Don't leave us yet.
Lots of great work by everyone. We're all pretty busy. I have not been pushing these discussions like every week, reminding people to send in sessions or whatever. And so I did have to nudge some people going, were you going to send in a session? You usually do. And I am so glad I did because, they got it.
Yeah, I'm always amazed,
Yeah.
like I keep telling people, I'm never surprised by the accuracy and everything that I see anymore. But if I ever stop being amazed at it, I'll go do something else, fix computers or something.
Gotcha. We have one more target this year toward the end, toward Christmas. Hopefully, I think it might be like 2 days before. And I haven't set 2015 up at all yet. So actually, life is picking up quite a bit. I was telling folks had a project that we did, my very first project, customer got back with me and they're moving forward, and it's nice to get that feedback, and I wish that I could tell everybody, what's going on, but I can't. So looking forward to being able to share that.
I'm still catching up on the targets of the week, by the way, and on the targets of the week, where it's a target that, we worked with the webinar here. I'm putting links to both your videos and to registering for the webinar. So hopefully we'll have more people benefiting from this, whether they participate with sessions or not. They don't have to. There's a lot to be learned here.
Well, that's the whole point. And with that, I really don't think I have anything else. Kind of excited trying to get a couple of press releases out and a couple of articles written, and I have hopefully have Mensa next July, and hopefully another nursing conference in June. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Won't hear about that for a while. So, and then another one in October. So I know your schedule's full and you're doing things all the time.
I think you'll enjoy the Mensa conference. It's, for some reason, everybody thinks it's all these people running around trying to be smart. It's most of the conferences I've been to for Mensa, people are running around trying to stay sober.
Be nice.
It's well, I include myself on that, but it's a fun conference and a lot of fun people. And
get me thrown
I think
out before I get in. Jeez Louise.
Say what?
I said, get me thrown out before I get in.
No, I'll tell you, Mensa people are like Texans. You can make jokes about them and they'll laugh at it. They'll laugh at them, not get offended, and turn around and tell you a better joke about them. So.
Oh, good. And with that, folks, I really don't have anything else. And I'm sorry, I just don't have time for more than once a month right now. I'm trying to get some other things done. So I feel kind of sad. Never see you as much now. So go ahead.
I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving, and it's still early in my book, but Merry Christmas anyway, but happy Thanksgiving.
Well, thanks. You too. We just had ours, actually, this past weekend. When we all worked in a hospital, you got to grab whatever days everybody's off. So
yeah.
So we did it. And with that, thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate everything. And thank you, Lynn, for your teaching as always. And we'll see you folks in about a month.
Thank you for doing this.
Well, you're very welcome. I think this will make a good article.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I took all the pictures. So there you go. Oh,
yeah.
boy.
Can you send me the picture files along with the text, and this will make a good target of the week?
Sure.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Good night, everybody.
For everybody, that doesn't mean you have to bring up every target of the week thinking, oh, I know what this one is.
Good night.
Good night.